Welcome everyone, Ryan here from the London Craftsman channel. How's it going? Today's video is basically about sharpening a chisel, and in particular my own method in sharpening a chisel. I'm a little bit different from the way most people do things. If you've watched a few of my videos, my techniques are a little bit alternate compared to other methods. I hold the chisel in a different way than other people, I believe. I feel that the way I hold the chisel and the way I sharpen it, my method keeps the blade nice and flat, doesn't give you any rounding over, that horrible rounding by holding the chisel up the top. So today we're going to be using the Trend Complete Diamond Sharpening Kit, as you can see, kindly sent out by Trend for us to test to see how it is. The two diamond stones, really heavy. We've got one which is rougher than the other. So as you can see, these grid-shaped stones, one's 180, one's 320. So this is the roughest stone. You flip them over, you've got 600 and 1,000. So this one, I'm guessing, without reading the instructions, is more for your chisels that are a bit gnarly. You'd be going for the rough stone, then sort of going for the 600 after. If your chisel is in pretty decent condition, for example, have a look at that one, isn't too bad. Very slight wear at the top where it's not flat. I'd probably be going for the 300 rough grit, going for the 1,000 afterwards. So that's what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to start with a 300, use this one only, and we're going to set it up. They come with these little mats, which is great, these little non-slip mats cut to size. When I put it on my bench, it's absolutely solid, doesn't go anywhere. It's a lovely hard case. Each stone comes with its own little wallet, non-slip mats, got the leather, you've got the honing bar, the rubber to clean up, and the liquid. I'm guessing that's kind of the fluid that you need in between your chisel. When you are sharpening, do not do it dry, it's just going to ruin your stone. I used to just use water, and it seemed to do the job for me back in the day. Might have been doing it wrong, but the lapping fluid, I guess, it comes with this for a reason. Then it packs away nicely in that case, nice and solid to take with you or just to store away and put it in your nice tool collection. Back in my apprentice days, I had a guy who liked to put two bevels on his chisel. One, he'd flatten it, and then he'd go up at another angle and put another bevel on the front, maybe about 3 mil from the tip upwards. I just think that is not the right way to do it. All it's doing is making that angle less acute, so it's making it less pointy, isn't it? So whenever you're using that chisel, it's going to get duller quicker because it's not as pointy. More angle, less angle. Always get confused with bloody angles. So I like to just keep them completely flat, as this one. Like I said, the other guy, he put another bevel on it. We're just going to stick with the flat, plain, front-faced Sharpen and see how we get along. Without further ado, hit that subscribe button and give them a sharpen. Right, so before we start, I'm going to show you what chisel we're actually going to be sharpening. And here you can see it's not the greatest chisel in the world. Slight chips on the end, bit of wear and tear, and it's lost its edge. This will probably do more damage to the timber and create horrible tram lines in your timber, not give you a crisp cut. So this is the one I'm going to go for. And before I do that, I want to give you an example how most people hold their chisel. So in my eyes, most people would probably hold it like so, in this sort of stance, and then they would find the flat by just wiggling it on your stone, and obviously you'd have the liquid, you'd have your water or your lapping fluid on the stone, and then you'd see it squeeze out, and that's how you'd know. You'd also feel it. As you're moving it, I feel and you're doing your figure of 8 or you're doing your up and down, there's no real 100% guarantee that it's not going to be rocking on you slightly as you go. And that's why I feel holding the chisel at the top or around this part of the chisel is not the most accurate way of sharpening a chisel, in my eyes. Remember, there's 100 ways to skin a cat, as they say, but I just wanted to show you my own method. So my method is holding it like a pencil, simple as that. So it's a matter of holding your chisel between your knuckles. So that part of the chisel is in between your knuckles. You're holding it like a pencil, like so. And you're using that to support it in at that angle. And then all you're going to do with your other hand is push down on the flat. So if I didn't have that there, we're trying to create that effect with that finger. So that helps guarantee that we're going to keep that chisel flat as we are sharpening. As we are sharpening up and down, we are putting slight pressure on that finger So yeah, we're ultimately using this hand as a guide and these two fingers to feel the flat. And it's so much easier to keep it in that position. You can lock all your fingers into position. And it's so much easier every 10 up and downs you do or so. You can then just double check it, move it again on your stone. So let's put that into action. We're going to use the smoothest stone like I said before. Let's put the mat underneath that they give you. Yeah, so let's put a decent amount of lapping fluid on. And again, all I'm simply going to do is hold it like a pencil, get it into the position I want. Can you see it squidging out? You can see when you got the flat because the liquid starts coming out of the tip. So that is what I want. And again, I don't necessarily do the figure of 8. I like to just do up and down motions. Remember, keeping your finger on the flat, keep it there. And you can actually feel it. Every stroke you do, you can feel that it's constantly flat. So this is what we have achieved so far with those few strokes. Not too bad. Again, there's still a few little micro chips at the top. If I really wanted to, I can use the rougher stone and get those out first. Again, this is all about the method. You're also going to want to go over the back of your chisel to get off any crap. Keep it nice and flat. It's just good practice too. Anyway, that's what I was taught. It's not going to clean it up perfectly, but you know that's nice and flat, so it's going to give you that ultimate edge eventually once you've sharpened this up. Again, I hold it like a pencil. Around that, whatever feels comfortable for you, push down. You find your level of the flat of your blade. You hear it? Once you've got it, push down with your left hand to keep that flat. And again, I think the figure of 8 is not necessarily my cup of tea to do. I think there's more variation to go wrong. You're moving your hand more, there's chance of it wobbling around and rounding the blade over in all different directions, whereas this, doing it like this, it's going to give you a completely flat surface every single time. So that is with the rougher part of the stone, the 300. Yeah, I find this is my way, it works for me. Again, everyone is different. There's probably 1,000 ways to sharpen a chisel, isn't there? I think this one is pretty awesome. This was just a demo just to give you my technique. Let's go on to the really bad state chisel where it's got chips in it. Let's move on to the 180. This is really rough. This is the grit you'd use on your MDF to sand up your edges. Lapping liquid, maybe need a little bit more because it's rougher. We don't want to use these stones dry because it will just clog it up. I don't think it's designed to be used dry. Okay, I'm going to use that same technique. Get it on there. Wow, that sounds rough. So you'd probably use this stone if you didn't really, it wasn't bad enough to grind on your electric grinding stone or your grinding wheel. Right, so I don't think we're necessarily going to get this whole chip out. This one really is rough. But yeah, this one is it's definitely improving, this chisel. It needs a little bit more work. How about if we just go back over and swap to the 300 once more and see what happens. Yeah, this one feels so much nicer to sharpen on. The other one is literally like sharpening your chisel on sandpaper. So we're getting there and we're polishing it up and keeping it nice and flat at the same time. No curving of the blade in any direction. And we're getting there. That needs a little bit more work, obviously, but ultimately we are getting to the point where it's going to be usable pretty soon. I think I need to go back onto the rougher grades once more. Okay, so there you have it. This is the chisel that we did right at the beginning. As you can see, it's nice and flat, no rounding over. Needs a little bit more work, but ultimately that came out nice with the 300 and the 1000. So this is the second chisel, and again, it's nice and flat. We did go over this with the rougher stone, the 180 and the 600, to try and get that chip out. A little bit more work, and I think it would have happened. And we have gone over it again with the 300 just to polish it up, just to show you what it can look like. But ultimately, What I like to do is keep it in one angle, not putting another bevel right at the front, because I just feel that all that's going to do is make your chisel duller quicker. I think this kit is a fantastic little kit. So there you have it, guys. My technique is all about keeping your chisel as constantly flat as you can, using one hand to push down on that flat like so, the other to support. I feel that having it at the top and sharpening it like this, you've got the risk of it wobbling backwards and forwards like this. There's no way as you're moving your hand forward that you know you're keeping it completely level. And also as you're doing this, you could be twisting it and turning it, putting a horrible round. I mean, it's still going to be sharp, but I feel keeping it on your MDF like so, like a pencil hold, push down with one hand on the flat and just doing just constant up and down strokes. You can go left and right on your stone. That's going to give you the best finish in my eyes. Remember to go over the back edge every now and then, and once you finish, you can flick it on your trousers or on a cloth just to get rid of any burr that you might have. So yeah, really like the kit. It comes with a rough stone. It comes with the smoother stone, so 2 stones. This one's get your chips out, and for all your neglected tools, you're going to be starting on this one, I guess. And your ones that you keep in pretty decent, you're going to go straight to the smoother stone. I do like the feel of the 300 straight away. That's going to be my go-to stone. I don't think I'll probably ever get to use the leather strop and the compound that it comes with. I'm going to leave it like that. Thanks for watching. If you've got any questions about my technique, do you do first method that I was talking about, or do you try and replicate what I do? Does anyone else do that, where they're just pushing down and supporting the front tip of that blade? Anyway, good, love you and leave you. Have a great rest of the day. Take it easy. Ciao for now.